Extraction shooters, from what I've played myself, seem to fall into two distinct categories. Either a soulless cash grab by a company that is usually just a throwaway game mode that releases and dies within months, or the game that started the trend. I don't hate Tarkov, I just don't have the time to fully understand it, and I've always liked the idea of extraction shooters, something like the Division's Dark Zone, without the milsim tactical baggage. My wish was granted. Arc Raiders came in hot. Massive player numbers, fantastic presentation and gameplay, good business practices, and a little bit of controversy sprinkled on top. Let's boot this thing up and see what it's all about. We are greeted with a little cutscene catching us up on the premise of the game. Then we are dropped into a tutorial. We learn how to breach open containers, loot items, and are greeted with our first enemy, another raider. We take out a sniper on the roof, but are ambushed inside of the building by two others. They knock us out and take our junk, teaching us a lesson. This game has PvP, and other players will take advantage of it. We pick ourselves back up, learn how to heal and use our shield, and finally meet our first arc enemy. We loot everything in sight, find the extraction point, and make our escape underground. A real quick and effective intro, but now for the most important decision. What are we gonna look like? Last time I was the whitest man alive. This time I'm fulfilling my longest, deepest desire, becoming a feisty little Asian woman.
Because I always had a thing for Asian girls, you know. The form of this cute Asian girl, why does it have such a grip on me? Maybe what I really want is to be one of these Asian girls.
Having crafted my ABG, we are introduced to Speranza, an underground settlement located in the Rust Belt. Topside, for the most part, has been abandoned because of the ever-looming threat of Ark. Robots who have taken over the surface, that's where we come in. Raiders that venture up and fighting Ark or other players to bring resources back to Speranza. We meet 5 traders. Celeste, Tianwen, Apollo, Shani, and Lance are given a room to hold our supplies, and finally are given our first quest. Okay, I have a few goals, but my main one is seeing how quickly I can finish my expedition project, which lets me prestige my character. More on that later when I hit level 20. Also, I will be finishing every quest, as of me writing this video, max out all workbenches, scrappy, and finally, maybe doing some extra activities at the end. First, you may ask, what is the point of extraction shooters? This game is all about gambling your loot and setting up your workbench economy. What do I mean? When you load into a raid, there are only 2 ways back to the lobby. Either extract with all your loot or die, losing everything you've collected, plus your gear with no way to get it back. This is where the gambling part comes in. Let's say you open a container and find a shiny new rare weapon. What do? You can't put certain weapons or items in your safe slot, which, upon death, is the only thing you keep. So you could sneakily try to make a escape to a extraction point. If you come across a player, you could talk them down with your gamer charm and proximity chat. Maybe sneak up on some guy and use your new weapon. There is always a chance someone has something good on. On top of this, every map has a timer. When it hits 0, everyone who hasn't extracted yet gets wiped out. Every raid is risk versus reward. Every decision has consequences. Always playing it safe, you get less loot. Playing too wild, you go broke. Playing too slow, you die from the map timer. Risk assessment is the key to being successful in Arc Raiders. Now, let's say if you get some good loot and extract with it, why the hell would you bring it back into a raid if you could just lose it forever? That is where your workbench economy comes into play. Let's say you like a certain weapon that's hard to find in a raid. If your workbenches are leveled up, you have the materials and the blueprint for the weapon, just craft that thing. Really, your goal should be to increase your weapon baseline. At the start, I could only craft basic gray weapons. After several dozen hours of questing and upgrading, every raid I go in with higher level weapons, better shield, stronger healing items, and augments that let me carry more loot. But be warned, you can go broke if you use all your resources and money. So this stops you from just endlessly crafting and dying without consequence. Even if recovering from bankruptcy isn't very hard, I love this setup. I will explain the workbenches and crafting in more detail soon, but for now, let's get into a raid. Arc Raiders has 4 active maps: Dam Battlegrounds, Buried City, Spaceport, Blue Gate, my favorite, and as of me recording, there is a community event going on to unlock the 5th one, Stella Montes. Each map is on a timer with multiple map conditions that rotate in and out. These are consistently changing up the way you play and bring a nice amount of variety even if you're running the same map. And there are still more to come. God, I want snow so bad. After selecting a map, you have one more choice, either using a custom loadout or a free loadout. Perfect for going to dangerous places without the fear of losing your hard-earned stuff. Usually isn't very good, but lets you play a little more reckless than you could normally. We did our first quest from Shani. Load into a raid, go to a loot location and loot 3 containers, easy. Second and third quest from Shani. Get 6 wires, a battery, then destroy 3 Arc enemies and take their Arc alloy. My second raid is the first time I died to another player who just snuck up on me and gunned me down. Quest 4 is finding a field depot, climbing on the roof and fixing the antenna. Field depots are cool because nearby are these containers that you have to carry, and when inserted into the machine inside, you get some decent loot. We get a quest from Celeste, who requires us to find an Arc Arc Probe or Courier, bust that bad boy open, and loot it. There are two ways to extract from a raid. Your normal extraction locations that are very loud can attract people and are hot spots for jobless jerk-offs to camp and kill you when you're trying to leave. Or a raider hatch, quiet, discreet, but requires a key that can be bought or crafted. Shani wants us to patch one up. We go fix it and get killed by some guy camping in the building right next to it, but every death teaches me two lessons. Check my corners and no mic, no mercy. Do the field cache thing at the depots I talked about earlier. We meet Apollo, the bomb guy, and he wants us to blast the crap out of some Ark with grenades. Tian Wen, gun woman, gives us a Pharaoh, a heavy ammo weapon, which means it's very good at killing Ark, and she wants us to use it on a turret, Pharaoh, and Hornet. Apollo wants us to kill an Ark with a fireball burner. Fireballs are these little guys that rush at you and try cooking you. They drop a burner, once thrown, sets other stuff on fire. Very nice. Shani wants us to kill a Wasp, Hornet, and Snitch, loot their drives, which each one drops, while Apollo wants us to kill a Hornet with a certain grenade. Tian Wen asks us to find a supply drop, which spawn randomly on the map, shoot off a signal flare, and loot whatever gets airdropped in. Celeste gives us our first key. You can get keys from quests or getting lucky with a drop in a raid. They are used to open locked doors on certain maps and have a very high chance of good loot. We open the locked door on Damn Battlegrounds, scope out the rocket thrusters on Spaceport, and finally visit the 6th floor on the space travel building on Buried City. Lance wants a few medical items delivered to him. Shani needs us to pop open a barren husk and loot whatever's inside. Easier said than done. The freaky doctor wants more meds from Spaceport's departure building at Zamru, the hospital on Buried City, from Damn Battlegrounds RNA building's medical room. Shani needs a servitor vault and definitely use some grenades because these boys are quick. Tian Wen's greedy ass asks us to go to Buried City and loot 2 containers under a parking garage. Damn Battlegrounds to check the South Swamp outpost and the Spaceport to check some random hideout. Lance, again, Buried City, find a pharmacy in Old Town and get him an ESR analyzer. Easy. Okay, enough question for now. Your expedition project unlocks at level 20, with it being the sole way to prestige, resetting your character and making you go through leveling up literally everything all over again. Why do this, you may ask? I have no idea. It's just for all the unemployed people like myself who have nothing better to do. It has 6 phases, so let's start on phase 1, which isn't too bad. The metal and rubber parts are pretty easy because they can be found all over the map. Arc alloy only drops from, you guessed it, Arc enemies. Lastly, steel springs can be bought from Celeste with seeds. I swear to God, do not sell your seeds. Phase 2 is 35 durable cloth, 30 wires, 30 electrical components, and 5 cooling fans. I would look for durable cloth in medical areas, wires and electrical components in electrical locations. Lastly, and hardest one of this phase, cooling fans. I would definitely check inside these breachable containers right here, but they indeed took me a while to find. Phase 3, 30 batteries, 20 sensors, 1 Exodus module, which I found a decent amount of from locked rooms or at the rocket assembly on Spaceport. Then 5 light bulbs, mostly found in lockers, but they are very elusive. Phase 4, the single hardest phase by far. Out of this list of materials, what do you think took the longest to get? Advanced electrical components? Nah, I just upgraded my refiner and crafted them. Magnetic accelerators? Nope, crafted those as well. Leaper pulse unit? Hell no. After you know what to do, Leapers are pretty easy to kill with grenades. It was this damn humidifier. After several days of doing humidifier runs, bartering with other players for theirs, I found 5 of them. Okay, before the final phase, let's crank out some more of these very interesting quests and walk through upgrading our workbenches. Shani needs us to go to the Jane Sue warehouse on Spaceport, find some shipping notes, go to the upper floor of control room A6, and grab a LiDAR scanner. Tian Wen needs us to go to some old battleground to retrieve a tape, compass, and rations. Apollo needs us to head to Blue Gate and visit several locations to fix whatever needs fixing. Celeste needs us to turn off some makeshift traps still set up on Damn Battlegrounds. Shani needs a LiDAR scanners set up in 3 different locations. Tian Wen had some supplies go missing on Buried City. Shani wants us to go take a selfie of the collapsed highway. Celeste needs a solar panel repaired. Celeste wants to make a garden. Shani wants us to investigate another Arc machine. We almost die from wasps, but make it home safe. Now we're about halfway done with all quests. Let's finally break down the workbench situation. You have 1 basic workbench that can only craft a few essential items and can't be upgraded. You also have your gunsmith, gear bench, medical lab, explosives lab, utility station, and refiner, which max out at level 3 as of this video. Scrappy can also be upgraded 5 times. He gives you a nice steady income of basic crafting materials. The initial investment to build all benches is very low, mostly basic materials or Arc components you can get from just playing. Level 2 is where these workbenches make you go out of your way for certain items, but still isn't too crazy, besides the level 2 refiner with those damn toasters. Level 3 is where Embark really tries to slow you down. Gunsmith needs rusted gears, sentinel firing core, core and advanced mechanical components. Craft the advanced components, Sentinel firing core drops from either ARC couriers and the big boy turrets, and finally rusted gears are literally nowhere. The gear bench isn't as bad, get bastion cells from killing a few bastions, craft the electrical components with the refiner, and for the industrial batteries, people say to check hydroponic dome on damn battlegrounds. Medical lab, look inside the hospital on Buried City for rusted shut medical kits and antiseptic. For the surveyor vaults, kill surveyors or check ARC couriers. Explosive station, craft this, check hospital on Buried City for this, and kill a rocketeer or check Husk graveyard events for that. Utility station, craft, research and administration building on damn battlegrounds for the motherboards, and clap a few leapers for the pulse units. Lastly, the refiner, art circuitry from killing robots, bombardier cells from killing a few of them. Lastly, check vehicles like cars and buses for the motors. For scrappy, just spam Blue Gate Olive Grove for the fruit, Buried City Old Town for the trinkets, and this tree on Spaceport for the mushrooms. Maxed out benches, baby! Oh my god, this is taking forever. I'll try to explain them in even less detail, not like you'll miss anything because the quests aren't very interesting. Celeste needs us to upload some data to a Field Depot computer, set up a memorial for some killed raiders for Celeste, go to Buried City and find some seeds in a seed vault, sabotage a competitor's weapon cache for Tian Wen. Celeste wants us to go to another old battlefield to find a first wave patch because it's Tian Wen's mom's or something. Also, she asks us to check out the water intake and it's not looking too good. Tian Wen needs a solar panel repaired. Tian Wen asks us to bug a rival's weapon cache for what feels like the third time. Celeste wants us to get to the bottom of the contaminated water problem, and it turns out someone is messing with the water Flint, Michigan style. So we head to Spaceport to switch the water supply to a different reservoir. Tian Wen wants fertilizer and a water pump from Buried City. Apollo heard a family was traveling topside and they're all dead. Celeste wants us to raise raider flags on damn battlegrounds, go get 2 of Celeste's journals, get mementos from Tian Wen's mom, and destroy a rocketeer and give the driver to Shani. 3 quests, 1 raid, not bad. Lance wants medical records from Spaceport and says, I have big hero energy. I can tell he was written by a millennial. The power has gone out, turned it back on, truly a great quest. Prepare the generator on damn battlegrounds. Mark locations on 4 different maps for potential new outposts. Go get some bees. Just go get some bees. Literally all that it is. Apollo wants some parts to fix the espresso machine. Espresso is an S tier coffee, so Apollo is my new favorite trader. Lance wants to understand human doctors better. Go take some pictures of some random things in some dead guy's house for him. Shani wants us to set up an antenna on top of the pattern house. Get Celeste a power rod, go to the top of the tower A6 on Spaceport and use a computer. This turns into my best kill game in all of Arc Raiders. The Venator is so good. Find and loot a dead drop in Buried City. Apollo wants us to get some books from the Buried City library. Truly invigorating gameplay. Set up a terminal in the Red Tower on Buried City. Get some blackmail files for Celeste on the North Trench Tower on Spaceport. Oh my god, I'm almost there. Get Lance a new plant that has bloomed on a down barren husk. Open up an armored truck on Blue Gate checkpoint and loot it. Go kill a leaper and I get help from a very cool guy blasting music. Oh, finally, I can rest. Now let's finally finish this Raider launch pod. Phase 5 is literally just a way to clean out your inventory. 250k worth of combat items, like weapons, grenades, 100k worth of survival items, shields, augments, heals, 180k worth of provisions, mostly just treasure items, and lastly, 300k worth of crafting materials. I pose a question. Where is the best place to get all of these items? Correct, off other players' dead bodies. And that's it, now we wait. No, I'm not kidding. We can't launch our Raider into the sunset until Embark gives us the go-ahead. In total, it took me around 42 hours and 22 minutes of in-raid time, because sitting in the lobby, scrolling Instagram Reels doesn't count. Now we have to wait for permission from Embark to Prestige, and that would be kind of a lame ending. Killing the Queen is possible solo, but I'm not good enough of a gamer for that. So I brought along the boys. To kill the Queen, we need 3 raiders, each with a Hall Cracker grenade launcher and a stupid amount of ammo. Also having a few wolf packs and another weapon to fight off loot goblins. Our first attempt couldn't have gone any worse. We spawn in on Blue Gate, and as soon as we leave our spawn location, we are right in between 2 other teams. We get immediately clapped within the first 3 minutes of the raid, and we all get off for the night. The gentlemen have normal lives, so while they were at work, I do what I do best. Harass people on Discord servers until they agree to play with me. I got 2 other gamers and we set off. We were on Blue Gate again, and this time started off pretty good. We posted up inside the gas station and went to work. The Queen has 2 attacks, her Biden Blast laser beam and her fire rockets that will cook you very fast if you're not careful. The team's goal is to use the Hull Cracker and land shots on her legs, aiming primarily for the joints till the armor falls off and finally she loses that leg, finally bringing the big girl down. Happy ending, right? Nope. These little rats were waiting until we did all the work, and when the queen was defeated, swooped in, shot everybody, and took the loot. The boys were beaten down, but not out of the fight just yet. Attempt 3 was on Spaceport. We got a horrendous spawn. We trucked over there, but the building where you have the best possible advantage to fight the queen was already taken by another team. We used our risk assessment and thought it was best to just retreat and extract. This time, we got a very good spawn, made a run to the tower, and started doing damage to the queen. But the Arc Raider gods said it wasn't our time. The server started bugging, and bugging hard. Sprinting wasn't working, we could barely move or shoot at all. We were lucky enough to extract, but still, we were 0 and 4. Make or break time, people. Horrible spawn, and we joined the raid about halfway done. We made it to the tower with 14 minutes left, and we got to work, shooting the queen, coming back inside to evade her attacks. We did it again. This time, we shot everybody around the queen's body just to be safe, looted what we could, and hauled ass to the closest raider hatch, jumping in with seconds to spare, and we finally did it. Queen reactors secured, and we got off for the day. Arc Raiders is literally what the extraction shooter genre needed. A more casual game that still retains the risk and reward, gear fear, and player interactions it's known for. My favorite part of this game is 100% the other players. I have never had so many positive and negative player interactions in such a short amount of time. I would make deals with people, group up to enact justice on evil players. I would be evil. I would just loot and chat with some random dude I just met, and we would extract together. Arc Raiders has really good PvPvE combat, good crafting and resource mechanics, and most importantly, it is a blast to play with friends and solo because of all the different types of people you meet. A fantastic game that I hope lives on for many years, and as always, thank you for watching this long.